Which brings us back to the Middle East. We really are there for democracy, of trying to promote democracy. Then what the hell are we doing supporting Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and all the other sheikdoms where women are nothing more than house pets and people are there to be subservient to an oligarchical society that wants to live up the land. And we will not have any peace until we resolve the Palestinian question. And one of the questions that we've been raising across the country as we've been going is the role of AIPAC in the United States and what AIPAC is doing to intimidate American politicians. They've long controlled the Democratic Party and also have moved over to have the great influence in the Republican Party. We had the pleasure at Madison of sharing the stage with a guy by the name of Jeff Helper, who, if he hasn't been here, I certainly recommend it to think about bringing him to Baltimore. Jeff was the CEO during Vietnam. He's a fellow Minnesotan like myself, too. Was the CEO during Vietnam, and then after Vietnam, he's Jewish, moved to Israel. And he became a CEO in Israel and refused to bear arms or anything like that. And he currently has 2 of his own children in prison today in Israel as conscientious objectors. Well, what happened was that he's been traveling all around the country lecturing against our policy and Israel's policy, and has been raising money to go in and rebuild all the houses that the Palestinians had destroyed by the Israeli government. So far they've restored 6,000, and it's almost as fast in some areas that they build them back up, the Israeli government comes in and knocks them down. The role of AIPAC has been tremendous. Not too far from here, we remember Jim Moran, who has been a really good Democratic congressman from Virginia for I think 22, 24 years. And he's fought everything about the U.S. foreign policy for years and years, been truly one of our good Congress people. And if you didn't see that TV at the time, he was speaking to a group half this size in his home constituency, and I'm not sure how it was taped, but the talk was taped. And somebody just asked him, why the hell can't the Democrats get us out of Iraq? He said, very simple. He said, because it's controlled by AIPAC. It's the most powerful lobby in the country, far more powerful than the National Rifle Association. Well, what happened when he made that statement and it got public, the Democratic Party stripped him of all of his leadership posts in the Democratic Party, and a strong candidate was running against him in the primary. Unfortunately, Jim survived that. Cynthia McKibben wasn't that lucky down in Georgia. The congresswoman down there who for years was attacking our foreign policy and how we were misguided, when she came out strong as she did, the AIPAC raised the most money ever raised in the history of the United States to fund a challenger to a long-term incumbent, and they beat her. And fortunately, she came back and was able to win it back. In my home state, in Minnesota, we have a really good congresswoman by the name of Betty McCullough. Well, last year, she voted against what the AIPAC position was on a particular issue, and they called her anti-Semitic. And she had the gonads, like most of the other people do not in the Democratic Party, struck back and said, I am not anti-Semitic. I happen to be the congresswoman from the district of St. Paul of the United States of America. I'm not a congresswoman representing Israel. And from here on, AIPAC people are banned from my office. They're not allowed to come in and try to even lobby. Well, Washington's office got a little nervous on that, and they thought, well, maybe we have some overzealous local people. And she said, my foot, AIPAC period is no longer welcome to come to the office. And we need people in every congressional district to do the same thing when people are being attacked as anti-Semitic for criticizing our policy. Like Jimmy Carter, he's anti-Semitic. He writes the book, of course, which criticizes the government of Israel, how they're treating Palestinians in the occupied territories. Didn't say anything about inside of Israel. Everybody in the world went out from the AIPAC Jewish community to condemn him as anti-Semitic. Well, isn't that amazing? Jimmy Carter was the only president we've ever had in the history of the United States who was able to establish peace between Israel and one other nation with Egypt. And he's now, 30 years later, going to be called anti-Semitic. So we've got plenty of work to do.